Hello again, stamping friends. Marilyn here with Stamping Creations with Marilyn. Going to share with you how I made this card now from Pretty Perennials and Perennial Petals dies with all 23 of these dies. You'll notice what Stampin' Up started doing with the dies is if there's smaller like this, there's two of the same. There's another, this one, there's two of the same. So if you're cutting, and there's two more, if you're cutting like a number of leaves that you want or whatever, you can do them at the same time going through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So this one, we have Coastal Cabana, we have Granny Apple Green, we have Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight, Gorgeous Grape, and a bit of ribbon, and a bit of the designer paper from True Love designer paper that's available now. The stamp set is photopolymer, and I love that idea because you can see where you're stamping. I leave, it always comes with the extra plastic on top. I do leave that on. I keep the, obviously, the sheet that has the images so I know where to put them and that I've got them all, because trust me, some of them have got stuck on the back of stamp pads or paper trimmers, whatever, and you spend hours looking for them. I have read somewhere that they're looking at perhaps putting that design right on the case as opposed to on a piece like that. I'm not sure if that's going to go ahead, but anyway, so those are the products we are going to use, and these are the papers. I'll leave my card up there so you can see it. So I have Coastal Cabana, that, if I can find my piercing mat, I will fold in half for a card, and this one is going to be a landscape mode. I have found that if I do my folding on a piercing mat, it tends to stay creased a little bit better. So that's what I do. Plus I usually stamp on a piercing mat, especially when I'm using photopolymer stamps. So there's our card base. I like to do my stamping before I put anything together, because quite often, if I'm not straight or whatever, I have to turn the paper over. So I'm going to stamp, actually, no, you know what? I am going to stamp first. And for this one, we are doing the Happy with Melon Mambo. So I will get my big happy stamp again, ink it up, and place it. So I've got room to put the other words on top, but also room for my designer paper. Again, bright, cheerful colors in these designs. And my words this time are sending lots of. And I see, when you use photopolymer stamps, I like to lay them, let them get their shape, and then put the block on. I still have that one crooked, but because it's photopolymer, I can see where I'm going, so hopefully I can line it up properly. Using my black memento again, make sure it's inked up. Stamp straight down, straight up. Liking that, liking it a lot. So that is my black. Now I can well, in effect, I could put that on there, but let's finish our stamping. I do have a Melon Mambo large flower, and again, I'm trying to get my indicator for matching the die near the top so I know where to put that die. So then when I take the die, I have a mark on there, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to match that way. So that is my Melon Mambo. Then the next one I have on there is this, and yes, this is quite a big piece, but Sometimes it's easier to cut just a quarter sheet and include it than it is to try and get the right size exactly. For 2 of these I need. So again, this is the middle size flower. And you could, well, I don't know if I could get 3 across. You have to have room for your die to go around there. So that is my Coastal Cabana. And again, I have a mark almost on my die so that I know where it's going to be. Then I have my gorgeous grape. And this one is looks to me like a little, I don't know, a raspberry or what would grape be? Maybe it's a grape. A cluster of grapes. And that one has a die, but it's pretty tiny. So I think I'm just gonna, I know I didn't mark this one. And let's see if we can figure out, guessing maybe that die. So this is always kind of like a puzzle. Ah, looks good to me. Looks good to me. I will use that one. So I'm going to cut 2 of those out. And my Daffodil Delight is one of the smaller flowers. That one I do have marked again. So you can see my mark, which I will aim for near the top. And the rest of it is all die cutting. So that one has, okay, where is my, that one doesn't look right. It's got to be this one. I just can't see the mark on it. You get the idea anyway. That, I think that one will do there. And then for the leaves on this one, we used a different shape die. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again and do some die cutting and just fill you in on a few more tips and tricks as I do this. Like I said before, the keeping the one plate for the top, I find is really helped keep them from warping. And looks like maybe there was a flower that you could have stamped for this, but we didn't. So there's one. And because there's no lining up or anything on this one, I can, try not to shake the table too bad. Run it back the other way. These actually, and especially when they're on the green, look to me like little shamrocks, which is coming up here in a month or so. So there are my 3 greeneries. We'll just call them that for now, and then I do have to cut the others. So I will carry on and do that. that is all our die cutting for that one. And now we can assemble. And just like with the stamping, I like to have all my pieces ready before I start doing the assembly. So I'm going to again use liquid glue for here because I can move it. Another way to line it up straight is if you were to do this with it. Although I find even just putting it to the edge and feeling it as you go. And if there's a little tidbit like that on it, it's easy enough to cut with your paper snips at the back. So before I put that on, my ribbon will go around. Now there's a couple schools of thought on how you put ribbon on. One is to take our Stampin' Seal and just put something like that on the back. Well, if you put it where it belongs, it would hold it. And then your ribbon is just going to catch on that back piece, cover your edge, and catch there. The other thing you could use at the back here would be your glue dots. So then I'm going to attach this, and this is the stronger of the Stampin' Seal. So I'm not going to use it continuously around because I don't need it. My greeting piece can then be added. And of course burnished. And I like to, most of the time I will turn my cards over and do this with them rather than running my fingers anywhere there's ink. And then it's a matter of putting the pieces where you want them. Now on this one, I did use a lot of, but I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I'm going to add, and that happens as you start creating. Even if you do a number of the same cards, you don't have to do them all identical. And I realized that when I do send out a lot of cards, Christmas, birthdays, and was worried about, oh, this one isn't the same as that, that isn't the same as this, but finally realized that one person is not going to see all of those cards, just you are. So it really doesn't matter if you have them identical or not. So again, I'm going to use my little mini dimensionals, they're called, for these. And I'm just working from the back up kind of thing. Just placing things where I like the looks of them. Within reason, I do have a certain number of things, obviously, to place. So I'm going to need to make sure I have room for everything. There. So then my little yellow guy can go there. I'm going to place, now because this is over a ribbon, I'm going to put liquid glue here, but dimensionals on this side. So you can mix and match your adhesives that way. They're all very good adhesives, so just good for using in different places. So it's nice to have a number of different ones. So there you can see that it's a bit flatter there, but you need the dimension here to keep it level. My other one I'm going to put there, and I think I will put dimension under two opposite sides on that one. So if I put it over there. And then for my final, I will need definitely dimension because this is all raised, and I do have my trusty little partial sheet here that I'm busy using the edges on. So definitely need a couple of these in the middle for just in this little spot here. And I think the rest of it should suffice the way it is. So let's see. Place that like that. So there's that card. Now I have a couple other things to show you on this particular one. I am going to try, again, my case for embellishments. I have something called opal rounds. And getting wiser, I'm going to leave them out of the package so they're easier to use. I showed you earlier in the other video that you can use this for picking them up and mounting them. This time I'm going to use my scissors like a pair of tweezers and get in the... They're different sizes. So I'm going to put one of the larger ones here, and then I'm going to pick a couple of the smaller ones to go on the Coastal Cabana. And they're really pretty embellishments, and they seem to pick up the color that's behind them, as you can see. And using the rule of 3, which is quite normal for paper crafters, I'm only going to put the 3. You obviously could put 1 there if you like, and it would be your choice. So that is that card. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is the cleaning of the stamps. I use this simple chamois, which again is in one of these cases. And I find it on, yes, it's been well used. Have it on my desk with me. I clean as I go so that when I come to do something else, everything is ready. And it really doesn't take much with this simple chamois. And yes, we do still sell the Stampin' Scrub, which is one of the all-time favorite tools from Stampin' Up. But I find since this came out, as well as using the Stamparatus, I can pick this up and clean the Stamparatus stamps. So that to me is a benefit. And I only have so much room on my desk, so that is what I use for that.